All right, ladies and gentlemen, joining me on today's episode of the Rice Crypto Show is Rafael LaVerde. He is with Crypto Vigilante. Raf, I appreciate you coming on the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you for having me. I've been wanting to get on your show and hang out with you for a while. And I know you've been telling me as well, hey man, when are we going to do this? And we've been scheduling back and forth and finally it's happening. So let's do it.
We made it happen, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. We got to meet in person in Miami at, was it Miami Crypto Experience?
Yeah, I think it was the Miami Crypto Expo, yes.
Yeah, Miami Crypto Expo. And we were hanging out at that bare knuckle fight, which was pretty cool. That was fun.
That was interesting. And those girls can kick ass, huh? Those girls.
Everybody, not just the girls, but all of them. That was pretty brutal, man.
It was pretty brutal. They say it's the fastest growing sport right now, faster than UFC.
I believe it. I believe it. And that was, it was a great time meeting you. Everybody at the crypto, or not everybody, but a lot of people from Crypto Vigilante were there. And then you had Alex and the Free Knot crew and some other musicians. So that was really cool. And I'm definitely looking forward to getting Alex on the show as well. And maybe even collaborating on some music with him. But
really, that's awesome.
It's going to be cool, man. And hopefully I'll be able to make it down to Anarchapulco next go around in 2023. So, but I'll keep you up to date. I know you're going to be in Miami for both shitcoin and I'm assuming Bitcoin 22.
Yeah, and especially Monero-topia.
What are the dates? Yeah, that was promoted at North American Bitcoin Conference, and I forgot to get the dates. What are the dates on that?
That's April 7th is the Monero-topia conference in Miami Beach. And then there's a shitcoin conference from the 5th on the 5th and 6th of April. Then we have Monero-topia on the 7th. Miami Bitcoin is from, I believe, the 8th through the 10th.
The 8th and 9th is the general admission. The 10th is the Sound Money concert.
Okay, there you go. And then
on the 10th and the 11th, there's another event at the Coliseum or at the Convention Center, James L. Knight, where we were at with the Miami Crypto Expo. That's put on by the Coin Agenda and I don't know, like Layer One, something like that.
Wait, so there's another conference?
There's a lot, and there's an NFT. I know there's an NFT conference.
Really?
So there's an NFT taking place before shitcoin.
Really?
That starts on the 3rd. So it's really stuff that I know of going through the 3rd to the 11th that I know of now. And it's like
there's the 10th and the 9th and the 10th is the Guns and Bitcoins conference.
So that's another one. Okay, I didn't know that was interesting. That is like the most intense blockchain week. So we're definitely people are going to come out, and both me and you are going to be speakers at Shitcoin 2022. I've had Ken Bozak on the show. We talked about it. He's going to be back on right before early April. So I encourage people to come out and check out me and Raf at that. But
that's gonna be nice to see you there. That's awesome. I didn't know you were speaking there. That's cool.
It's gonna be cool, man. It's gonna be cool. And I'm looking forward to, we'll be hanging out, man, because there's gonna be some parties going on. I'll be at the Monero-topia event. I'm also gonna be at Bitcoin 22. I just got to coordinate my schedules and see like what's going on when at the Bitcoin event that I want to be able to catch, because there's a couple speakers that I definitely want to see. Jordan Peterson's gonna be there, which will be really interesting.
Everyone is thinking of the Bitcoin 22 conference as like the big conference, and it really is. But from what I'm gathering right now, it seems like all of these other conferences are eating up that Bitcoin conference. I mean, I knew of 4 conferences happening simultaneously. Here you go and tell me about 2 more I did not know about. Hey, and
there's probably other ones. There's
another one on the 12th. There's the Mind Your Own Fucking Business conference thrown by the Pirate Chain community.
Really? Arr,
baby.
Arr. I've done a video on Pirate Coin. I like Pirate Coin.
There you go. Yeah, Pirate Chain's awesome.
Yeah, no, I like, and I'm really a big fan of why am I drawing a blank of the name? The chain that it comes off of, a Komodo.
Komodo? Okay.
Yeah, because basically
I was never really into Komodo.
Pirate Chain is just literally a private version. Literally.
Right on. Yes.
Yeah. And the creator of that coin is anonymous. It could be a person or a group, kind of like Satoshi. Nobody really knows the creator. So there's some pretty cool backstory when it comes to Komodo and even the creation of Pirate Coin, Pirate Chain. So, well, let's get into you, man. I'm a big fan of Jeff Berwick, and he's been on the show. I love Crypto Vigilante, and I love Dollar Vigilante. Ed Bugos, me and you have met. I'm going to share links for the YouTube channel, websites, and stuff. But for people who might be unfamiliar with you, aside from the fact that you're with Crypto Vigilante as a crypto economics expert, and I like to say cryptonomics, you mind kind of giving people a little background as to who you are?
Sure. I came into crypto starting off with the studying of Austrian economics. I was involved in politics with the Ron Paul campaign, but most specifically with a super PAC for Ron Paul, which was key in electing Thomas Massie, Kerry Bentivolio, and a bunch of other awesome libertarians like Justin Amash throughout the United States. So after that run of 2012, I gave up on politics. I'm like, this is just a waste of time. And so I started, by then I was already pretty active with the Mises Institute. And we had what we called the Mises Circle at the University of Texas in Austin. And it was a reading group that discovered Bitcoin. Within that group are a lot of people that went on to do incredible things in Bitcoin. And these friends of ours, we just grew together in Bitcoin. By then, I had already discovered Jeff Berwick, and I started going to a lot of the early Bitcoin conferences. And before I knew it, I found myself being in the middle of helping a lot of early Bitcoin startups source capital or become known to investors. The creation of the BitAngels Network came to be during the 2012 conference, the Bitcoin San Jose conference, if I'm remembering correctly. And so the BitAngels Network became the investing arm for the Bitcoin space at the time. And I was, my job was, because it was kind of like something that it's not like a formal business. It was more of a bunch of people that are enthusiastic about Bitcoin, getting the word out, going to different investor conferences, teaching them about Bitcoin. And before I know it, I find myself in the middle of introducing Bitcoin to family offices and all types of investors. So one day someone told me, man, you're working almost like a venture capitalist for Bitcoin. At the time, I didn't even know what venture capital was. And I'm like, well, okay, sure. I don't know what that is. I met Matthew Mellon, the heir of BNYU Mellon and Carnegie Mellon. And I started helping him out understand the space better. And working with him in Wall Street with an outfit of which was one of the first venture capital funds in the space, I quickly realized that I really wanted to work more with libertarians and anarchists and go back to my roots.
Mm-hmm.
And so I left Wall Street. I left all of that because I really wanted to take Bitcoin there. But when I got there, I realized that their mindset was not ready for the potency that crypto anarchy is about. So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. By then, Jeff and I had a very cool friendship, and we would constantly see one another at conferences. And he was like one of the main investors that if I ever saw something that was very unique, that needed not just capital but intellectual capital. So if I saw that there was a startup out there that really had something disruptive, and it was just not like something that is just kind of fluff, fluff fintech.
Right.
Something very, very anarchist oriented, something that needed much more than just money. I would bring it up to Jeff, and then Jeff would give me feedback on that, and we would develop this relationship of coming to really understand the crypto space together. At the time, it was like 2013. Jeff came to me, he's like, Raf, it'd be really cool to have a Bitcoin vigilante. And I'm like, okay, cool. But at the time, I was a privacy enthusiast. There's no way that I'm going to be a public person. And so I kind of walked away from that, went to Wall Street, did the whole thing there that I told you about, then came back years later, and I was still kind of, growth hacking all of these startups in Bitcoin, helping them out. And Jeff comes up again. He's like, Raf, I think this is time for a crypto vigilante. Help me find someone. And I'm like, I'll help you find someone and I'll help you out, but I don't want to be the public person. So it's funny because he's like, what about this guy? Go meet him at a conference. He's gonna be at the conference where you're gonna be. Go talk to him. Tell me what you think. And I'm like, yeah, Jeff, he's cool, but I think this, maybe this other guy. We just kept looking at different dudes, and in a very subtle way, I felt Jeff telling me, like, kind of without telling me, why don't you do it? I didn't want to do it. I don't want to be
Right.
public. I don't want to be out in the open. I love my privacy. So finally I'm like, Jeff has a badass audience. Jeff is someone that people trust, and Jeff is coming to me for help in this if I were to help him out, I'm going to bring in the A team, people that are the best in crypto. And that's what I did. I brought Mr. X. Then we brought in the first guys that charted Bitcoin in the Bitcoin talk forums, Mr. A, Mr. W, just all-star cast of just badass dudes that those guys will forever be anonymous. If you scroll down, you'll see Mr. A, Mr. W, then we have Mr. Z, Mr. P.
Yeah, there's all kinds of anons on here.
But in reality, these guys were very well known in the early days of crypto. These guys are like rock stars. They really are. The thing is that they just want to be private, so they came up with these pseudonyms so that they kind of have, and it's actually pretty cool for the subscribers because they have to kind of prove themselves all over again under a new name, which is actually awesome. It's actually the best deal we could get as a business, because now they're motivated to prove themselves. Because one thing is for me to tell you that Mr. A and W were amongst the first guys in the world to chart Bitcoin in the Bitcoin talk forums, meaning that they have the most experience in charting Bitcoin than anyone else and crypto on the planet, and that they were the key guys behind what was known at the time and for many years as the leading technical analysis financial magazine or in the world.
Actually,
BullBear Analytics. They were the BullBear Analytics guys. So any crypto OG that knows, BullBear Analytics now knows that BullBear Analytics is part of Crypto Vigilante. And that is as much as I can say about them, as much as they've given me permission to talk about them and their previous kind of quote unquote life. But yeah, so pretty much Crypto Vigilante is the fusion of Dollar Vigilante, Crypto Vigilante, and now BullBear Analytics coming together. It's really what it is.
So Mr. A is somebody who I've talked with you about this before, but me and him have had communication. There was somebody that subscribed to Crypto Vigilante that hooked us up, and really cool guy. So I definitely can back up what you're saying. I don't know him personally, and I don't know anything about him beyond his privateness, but everything that you shared pretty much has been backed up in conversations that I've had.
And he's not scared to speak his mind.
Oh, and the music thing is really cool too.
Oh yeah, he's a badass dude. Like, he is a well-rounded person, and something that we've always said in crypto, you really want to look for people that are, well, not everyone is going to be like this, but there are some very special people in crypto that are very well-rounded, right? And he's one of those individuals that is very well-rounded. Like, he understands OPSEC very well. And when it comes to technical analysis, man, woo, he's something else. Him and Mr. W are something else. And they're very objective because they in a sense, I get caught up on the fundamental analysis, and Mr. A has no qualms to step in and say, like, literally call me out. Hey, sure, we can philosophize and talk about this all day long, but at the end of the day, what matters is what the market is showing us right now. So to get that sober perspective is very healthy for me, because I can get caught up on the ideas, the crypto economics, the fundamental analysis, which he would even say is probably the most important aspect of everything we do. But there's something very sobering about talking about fundamental, about the technical analysis, because these technical analysts just cut through the bullshit and show you the market as it is right now. And it's very brutalist, very stoic. So I appreciate them a lot for being so stoic, and they serve a huge need within the network that we have.
That's a good way of putting it. And I mean, when you look at something like trading, I mean, it really shouldn't be emotional. So the stoicness really just kind of comes from a good trader keeping those emotions out of play. And for a good team to really operate and function the way it's supposed to, one, I mean, the team members are supposed to challenge each other and help to develop what each other knows to make each one stronger, because a team is only as strong as its weakest link. So, you know, I definitely commend, you know, you bringing up the fact that there's so many individuals that are involved with making the Crypto Vigilante what it is. With you being the unreluctant chosen face.
Yes, and it kind of sucks to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy, and the nerd within me is like, fuck, why did I do this? But somebody had to do it. And I next thing you know, like I find myself all of a sudden, I think Jeff saw that within me. I didn't see that within me at all. Like being like a forward facing person that gets up in front of audiences and does not have stage fright. Like that was very new for me. I never even knew I had those skills. And it was interesting to me to see that Jeff saw that within me, and that he trusted me with this, because before that I wasn't really, I was all about privacy. I cared. Last thing I cared about was to be being known and being on stage.
Right.
So for him to have seen that in me, that you know, that goes to show that, like, I don't know, man, it's almost like a blessing in a weird way. You know what I mean? Like he saw 100%. Something that I didn't see in myself, and I kind of trusted him, and then he kind of coached me and pushed me, and I'm like, okay, cool, man. Wow, I didn't know I had this, you know.
It was great intuition on his part, because I mean, just not just blowing smoke up your ass, but you know, seeing you speak in public, you are good speaking in public. You're good at captivating people. You're good at with the words you use. Me and you're very aligned in our thinking. So, you know, I appreciate what you're doing, and I get that you wanted to kind of stay behind the scenes, man, but sometimes people don't always get what they want. And the way that I like to put what we do, even reluctantly, is it's a dirty job, but someone's got to do it. And, you know, unfortunately, we got the shovels. We're here to pick, you know, start digging. So it's a dirty job, man. But people need to be woken up as to what's going on. The biggest travesty, I feel, you know, one of the biggest travesties is our monetary system, how it's based on debt, how the fractional reserve banking, and how the whole system is just corrupt and just ultimately is designed to keep us as individuals as slaves to this system. You have to participate in the system to participate in the world. And then we had this awesome technology come out called Bitcoin, and it started to change things. I mean, I know we've had gold and silver, but this is something that's a little bit different. Obviously, a lot of people that watch my channel are very familiar with the different properties of such and why gold is different than Bitcoin and vice versa. But there are some similarities. So you said privacy is a big issue with you. One of the
obviously things not anymore, right?
Well, but I mean, but I can see that with the coins that you support and the projects that you like. A lot of that is in privacy. Yeah. Before we get into the privacy coins, though, one of the things that I wanted to discuss with you was, and this was kind of a suggestion of Alex's, was regarding Bitcoin's original design at scale.
Okay, because so yeah,
I'm familiar with the hash wars, with the block size issue, with the civil war that took place. I've interviewed Roger Ver several times. I'm very familiar with what took place 2017 for the creation of Bitcoin Cash. And then we had a fork from Bitcoin Cash take place, creating Bitcoin Satoshi Vision BSV. If I was to choose, if I had to choose a side in that battle, I would go with Bitcoin Cash. My argument with Bitcoin is I feel like, and I've had this conversation with Charlie Lee and a lot of other people, but I feel like Bitcoin is being kept limited on purpose so that it's not being developed in certain ways so it can function the way it was designed to function, so that other people like Blockstream can create solutions that they can profit off of. And being that Bitcoin developers don't necessarily get paid because there's no CEO, there's no foundation, Blockstream can pay those developers to develop for them and it gives the developers money, and it's a win-win for the two of them, but it's kind of screwing over Bitcoin, the original intent of Bitcoin. So what are your thoughts about all that, man?
All right,
I
so
know it's a lot.
well, it is a lot, and it's a lot that we're very fortunate to be able to have this conversation, because at the Crypto Vigilante, so when Jeff pulled me aside and was like, let's do this, the first idea that I had was like, well, Jeff is a big blocker, and so am I. We can't have just us doing this. We need to give people the best, well-rounded perspective that we can offer them. So we brought in Mr. X, and then we brought in Mr. A, W, Z, and P. P is an extreme privacy guy, but the other four, X, Y, Z, and W, and A, they're all small blockers. Those guys are all, they come from the worldview of BTC. So we had Jeff, which was more of a big blocker, very much like you, very, very a Bitcoin Cash, and me, which I'm an extreme big blocker. Like I am beyond Bitcoin Cash. I am BSV, right? I am on the rebellious miner side of things. I am completely miner autonomy, maximum of block size, fucking scale, and compete with Amazon now. You know, that's my worldview. I'm a Bitcoin miner still. That's where I go. So at the Crypto Vigilante is the only place in the planet where you actually get the full spectrum. And you know, you and the full spectrum, it's almost like it's a drum that we beat so hard for so many years that we don't even like talking about it. And I don't even like to people. I mean, BSV is very controversial, which is where I find myself most partial within the whole Bitcoin civil war. It's that extreme big blocker perspective. But Mr. A, Mr. W, Mr. X, and Mr. Z, they're all more on the BTC side of things. So what happened? What's going on here? That the crypto space in general is you can see it divided into two different camps. Into the camp of there is the privacy coin sector, which is new, and it's everything that Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash ever wanted to become, but done right. Also, what Ethereum wanted to be completely, and what they always promised, but done correctly, done right. That is something that we've never had in crypto till recently. For many years, we've had transparent surveillance coins that we would call pseudonymous, and that they were private enough up until the point where we knew that sooner or later they were not going to be private at all because of blockchain analytics and the surveillance state that was catching up to blockchain technology.
Yeah.
We're there now. We're beyond being there. Now, if you're dealing with Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, BSV, or Ethereum, or 90% of the space in general, you're dealing with transparent surveillance coins. And you have to be aware of that. And you have to be honest. And you have to tell people that even if you have optional privacy, it's really not private at all. So it's a game changer. One, and this is very important.
Now, when you say game changer, you're specifically talking about BSV.
It's a game changer. Well, I'm gonna get to that.
Okay.
It's a game changer in the way, and I don't honestly. I think we're the only ones that have really been able to make these distinctions in crypto. I don't know if anyone else has been able to make these distinctions, even if they've known these distinctions existed. But a lot of people have weight that they're dragging behind, like sunk costs that they've invested in for many years. I'm talking about companies and crypto projects themselves, that they have to keep a rhetoric going, even though it is not an honest rhetoric. And that would be, for example, the problem with Zcash, that they wanted to be a privacy coin, but they never were, and they never could be. And now they're stuck with the weight of being transparent for the vast majority of his blockchain, and they can't change that. And they won't be able to change that because they are connected with exchanges, wallets that can only operate with their non-private settings. And now if they were ever to change, they would have to kind of start from scratch in building up that network and market penetration that they've already have established.
Right.
Okay. So there's this big distinction that we have the freedom to make at the Crypto Vigilante. We don't have any affiliate marketing. Nothing whatsoever. We want to be as independent as possible at all times, so that we make so that we are as objective as possible. That's our goal. Always as objective as possible. That today we might really like a coin, but if that coin fucks up, we will be the first ones to call them out. We don't want to be held back by anything. You know, we love Monero, but if something happens with Monero and Monero fucks up in any way, we're going to be the first ones calling them out. You know, we have no qualms of doing that. So, so we have this world of extreme privacy and this world of extreme surveillance. The language that we use is very important, right? We, even as anarchists, will call it surveillance, but there is other ways of looking at it. They are protocols that also give you honesty, right? Extreme honesty, enforced honesty for everyone participating, which has use cases in the market. We can't deny that it doesn't, you know,
100%.
So we have the world of light, which we're calling the solar punk world. All the transparent blockchains, and then we have the world of the darkness, which is more what they call the lunar punk world in crypto, right? When it comes to privacy coins at the Crypto Vigilante, we all agree that that is the most important aspect in everything that we're doing, because our motto is to survive and prosper with crypto during and after the dollar collapse. The most important aspect of all of this is to survive. So privacy coins, real cryptocurrencies is what we're starting to call them, real cryptocurrencies. These real cryptocurrencies give us the ability to escape and to protect ourselves in the worst case possible or imaginable, where we can actually exit systems that may be oppressive. When it comes to the transparent blockchain world at the Crypto Vigilante, we disagree. And that's really interesting, because when it comes to the privacy coins, we agree on that is the most important aspect in all of crypto. And number two, we agree in our assessment of privacy coins, because the assessment of privacy coins is very straightforward. It's based on the free and open source software ethos, meaning that it is the review of code, that we verify code amongst our peers, and we choose the protocols that are best for securing the privacy of the individual. Like, the meritocracy of privacy coins is very forward. It's very forward. What Satoshi gave us, this is where the disagreements come into play. What is it that Satoshi gave us? Because Satoshi gave us something new called Bitcoin. Why did he not give us a privacy coin from the get-go? Why is it that Satoshi, right? So,
but there's a lot of question as who is Satoshi. There was a white paper put out by, I think, the CIA, if I'm not mistaken, in the late 90s, how to mint, that had to do with cryptocurrencies. Even David Schwartz, who's with Ripple, was with the CIA at one point in time, who's a cryptographer. So yeah, I mean, you got a question, but it is open source technology that you can audit the code. And if you are a coder, you can make sure that there's no fallacies or bugs or anything to that effect. So I feel like if it was created from that aspect, that we've already kind of checked it, and it's not something that can be controlled by the creator, whether it's the government or not. But it did create an open, transparent system that can be identified. Like you said, pseudo-anonymous, chain analysis. Now they're trying to get pass legislation and push for KYC wallets. So if you want to send to an exchange and you have a wallet that you have your private key to, it's a non-custodial wallet, you'll have to identify that wallet, identifying yourself. That's why you're seeing profile pictures being NFT profile pictures, where they're just trying to get you to identify yourself as a crypto holder, so that it just helps out with their chain analysis. Sorry for but I always want to add that.
Debbie Downer. Wah, wah, wah. All the NFT guys are like, fuck.
What? It is what it is, though. It's tracking and tracing. It is, you know, and then the 100%. CBDCs with programmable money, that's dangerous. But I'll let you continue with what you're saying. The world of light and darkness.
So within the libertarian world, we see even spectrums within philosophy, right? We have the extreme agorists on one end that, you know, leave you the fuck alone, and we're just going to create an alternative system, counter economics, right? completely separate world, very activist driven, right? Then we have another extreme in libertarianism, which is very, and that is the objectivist crowd, right? That's Ayn Rand, Galt's Gulch, right? That mindset says that the most important thing is to capitalize now and to use whatever mechanisms we can have to say fuck you to the existing system, but they are not afraid to play with government law and to, in order to monetize more, right? So they consider themselves extreme capitalists. So the objectivist has no problem using government law as long as government law exists for the sake of capitalizing more. Whereas the agorist might see that as that's immoral and I wouldn't use that.
Right.
The extreme capitalist is very brutalist about it and says, fuck you, it exists and it's going to be used against us. So I'm just going to use it and to my benefit and that's it. You know what I mean? That's we have to understand that even within libertarianism, there are different perspectives as to what's the place of a corporation? Are they moral, immoral? I mean, and that's an ethical question. But the reality is like, how do you really have a free market? And one of the when you now see this magnified in the crypto world, the main question that you have is, where is the dispute resolution? Does the dispute resolution happen in the agora, in the marketplace? Has the marketplace offered us ways to resolve disputes in the market? Yes. Look, right now, Bisq.network, right?
Is that what that shirt is? I was wondering. Bisq?
Bisq.network, right?
KYC is the what?
Is the illicit activity.
Is okay, because it just got KYC is the I see illicit activity or illicit. Yeah, there you go.
All right, so that's that comes from the philosophy of extreme agorism that wants to create not just new money, new organizations that are completely separate from the existing system, but they want to create dispute resolution systems that compete with that of government law. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just innovation moving forward. And it's happening right now. And there are systems of escrow like Bisq. And till this day, there hasn't been a theft in Bisq because the incentives are aligned where you put money up at escrow and I put money up at escrow. And so you're not incentivized to screw me over because you're screwing yourself over. And if I try to screw you over, I'm screwing myself over. So as long as you follow the game plan for the escrow system, you're going to be okay. And we have Local Monero, Agora Desk, Havano Desk. We have all these different marketplaces that are solving disputes. And now we're moving into the world of assurance contracts. Okay, so there is a building of a dispute resolution system outside of government law. But is it as sophisticated as government law itself is? No, it's not. Technology is not there yet. I think that Dero, DERO, the privacy smart contract platform that just launched a couple.
It's like a private version of Ethereum, right?
Yeah, they're freaking amazing. So I think they're going to be pivotal. They're going to be very important to keep an eye on because those entrepreneurs are going to be able to take the Ethereum promises to reality, which is they're going to be able to create systems of cooperation, systems of dispute resolution in a way that is completely removed from government law. And how is that? Well, they're going to be operating within a setting that is private by default. Where, see alien technology right there. You see it? Introducing Dero. I highly recommend you guys watch that interview. It's the Dero, some of the Dero contributors speaking at the TCV summit.
Yeah, no, I have to check that out. That was one of the Crypto Vigilante picks that somebody had told me about.
Yeah, it's sick, man. They're doing something incredible. Now, does this mean that like government law ceases to exist? No, it doesn't. What's going to happen in the future in the area of dispute resolution? We're going to have, I think, hybrid models. We're going to have systems that are going to complement government law. Darrow in itself, just like any privacy protocol, has optional disclosure. So even within the smart contracts within Darrow, you have the option to disclose like a view key that you see in Monero or Pirate Chain, but for the smart contract.
That was something I was going to ask you when we got to privacy coins is, you know, we label them as privacy coins, but I feel like there's a distinguishment because you have privacy coins and then you have anonymous coins.
I think there's just, see, I don't buy
Monero,
that.
you can't turn the privacy off with Monero, where you're saying that
you have optional disclosure. Yeah.
You have, okay. Was that recently in the past few years at
it? Always been like that. So Monero and Pirate Chain have always had optional disclosure,
where you can choose to disclose the information.
Yeah, I'll send you a view key. So let's say I'm in business with you, and it's a business where the dispute resolution in our agreement is government law at this jurisdiction, right?
Okay.
What we're doing with the using of this privacy coin is that we're keeping financial voyeurism away from our business. So imagine I was managing a family office with billions of dollars, and you were doing something with me as the manager of this family office. The limited partners, the shareholders of the family office, would never want for us to be dealing with a transparent blockchain. That would be crazy, right? Because this is a secret sauce of how we invest our money. So I can give you, for the sake of compliance with the SEC and the whatever regulator, a view key that serves as that triple entry accounting.
Okay.
That is necessary in the face of any possible future dispute resolution that we might need to engage in. But that's optional. That's up to you and me.
Well, I'm learning
with
something
Bitcoin,
new because
it's not optional. It's by default that you're open to surveillance, right?
Right. No, I didn't, but I didn't know that there was an option with that with Monero. So I definitely learned something because I thought that there was a difference of the coins that had the option of being able to reveal the information versus those that didn't have the option, that were truly anonymous.
This is the distinction that I think you're referring to, and the distinction relies with Bitcoin itself, right? They call that privacy, but not anonymity. What does that mean? This is the analogy that they give you, which at the Crypto Vigilante, we kind of don't agree with this analogy. This is what they say. They say that privacy is buying an airplane ticket. You're sitting next to someone that you do not know about them. You do not know who they are, but the airline does, right? So if something happens between you and that other passenger, the dispute resolution of the airline or the government law would solve that dispute between you and the other passenger.
Right.
When it comes to an anonymous coin, what we call it the Crypto Vigilante, a real privacy coin, like Darrow, Monero, Wownero, or Pirate Chain, is that all you know is that an airplane is in the air. You don't know how many people are in there. You don't know who's in there. And it's just dark. You don't know, it's a void. You don't know what's going on in there. So that to us is privacy. Now, if you want to disclose, that's up to you on an individual basis to disclose to whom you're dealing with. Here's a view key for this interaction right now. Right? Not for everything that I do, but just for the interaction that I'm having with you at this present moment. That is what the view key gives you. So my perspective on the Bitcoin civil war is this, and this is where me and my business partners disagree. My business partners are aligned with the BTC and Bitcoin Cash worldview, which say that Satoshi wanted to create a privacy coin from the get-go, but him or they fell short. I don't believe that.
No, I don't either. I don't either because
I think Satoshi was smarter than we all give credit to, especially people in the privacy coin space. Team Satoshi, in my opinion, saw something bigger than we see. Satoshi, in my opinion, was an objectivist group of people at the core of Team Satoshi. Around Team Satoshi, there were anarchists, anarcho-capitalists. But I think Team Satoshi itself was very objectivist, and they were very brutalist. And they dealt with the world as the world is right now, not as it will be, but as it is right now.
Right, forward thinking.
much more than people give us credit. For me, when I read into Team Satoshi, what I see is that they didn't see the Federal Reserve as the ultimate enemy, or central banking as the ultimate enemy of humanity. That's what a lot of libertarians like us think. Like, obviously, it's the Federal Reserve and the Fed, right? And the Fed is what we would chant at the Ron Paul conventions, right? And the Fed. Team Satoshi saw something bigger. It's not the Fed. The Fed was the enemy of yesterday. The Fed was the enemy that has as the locus of control and power that makes war possible, funding possible, the everything, you know, and the IRS just fucks everything up, right?
Right.
It literally steals the sovereignty away from a nation and from a people. Like that we understand. But we all know that the future of finance and the future of banking will be a technology company or technology driven. So what did Team Satoshi see? And this is where I disagree with my business partners, because they still are in the focus of the Federal Reserve, which I completely agree with them. And this is where the Bitcoin civil war happened, right? Because people in BTC, in my opinion, I agree with your assessment completely. They started selling, and that we needed Bitcoin to be private, to focus on the coin aspect of Bitcoin, because we needed to focus on that coin aspect to outcompete central banking and the banking cartel. Fine, I agree with that. And my team agrees with that as well. And that is the BTC rhetoric. But if you want to take it to its logical conclusion, the logical conclusion is that you need to do it correctly from the get-go. Therefore, you need to be private by default, and you need a Monero or a pirate chain, something that is private by default at the protocol level. You can't have something that is half-ass. So what BTC is still trying to give the world is a privacy coin using the Bitcoin protocol. That's never going to happen. And with Taproots and everything that they're creating, that started off with SegWit, if you're never going to get that. And if you do get that, it's going to be 100 years from now. It's not going to happen in 10 years or 20 years. It's too hard of a fucking feat to execute. Plus, there's so many interests involved within the game theory, the strategy of the Bitcoin market, that there's a lot of players that will never allow the Bitcoin protocol to become a real digital gold and real digital cash. So we have a conflict of interest, an inherent conflict of interest, where we now have four camps in the Bitcoin civil war. We have the first camp, which is BTC, which said we're going to turn the Bitcoin protocol into digital gold and take away any emphasis from an on-chain economy and focus on the exterior economy. Then we had a second camp that said, no, we're going to just focus on Bitcoin Cash as cash. We're not going to focus on the computational power of Bitcoin, just as BTC. And we're going to try to make it as much into a privacy coin, just as BTC is trying to do, but trying to use most of the Bitcoin architecture as it was given to us as Satoshi, with limits, though. We're only going to allow the blockchain to scale to a certain degree, and we're only going to allow certain types of transactions dictated by developers. So both BTC and Bitcoin Cash, this is what happened. They emphasize, because in their mind, they need to turn Bitcoin into a privacy coin, both BTC and Bitcoin Cash. So what they did is that they started focusing on the FOSS ethos, on the free and open source software ethos, which is the ethos that that led to the creation of cryptocurrency. There is another camp that agreed with them fully and said, you guys are right, your ambitions are correct, Bitcoin Cash and BTC, but you're running into a wall, and you're literally lying to people, because you will never be a true privacy coin. You will never ever be true digital gold or true digital cash. And so these honest individuals said, we have to start from scratch and do it right. And this is where a new Satoshi came into play by the name of Nicholas von Saberhagen, and gave us Monero, the CryptoNote protocol, what led to become Monero. And then we had now other challenges to Monero technology, which is Pirate Chain, using state-of-the-art zero-knowledge proofs at the protocol level. So this is, in my opinion, Monero represents a third group of Bitcoiners that said, we're going to do this, but we're going to do it right. Don't fuck with the Bitcoin protocol. It's not a privacy coin. And that was the ambition of a lot of people surrounding Satoshi. And I would even argue maybe some of the people within Team Satoshi. That's what they wanted. What they wanted was a Monero. So it's disingenuous, in my opinion, for the BTC crowd to still be saying that they're a digital gold or digital cash, because they will never be digital gold or digital cash. Same for the same for the Bitcoin Cash community. You need to be done correctly. You need to be private by default. You need to be fungible. Now, there was a fourth component to this civil war. And these were the people that said, look, all you guys are very right in your ambitions for a privacy coin. You guys were correct, but that's not what the Bitcoin protocol was created for. And we all agree on that, right? The Bitcoin protocol was not a privacy coin, right? That's why Monero had to start from scratch. Those Bitcoiners had to start Monero from scratch. That's why Bitcoin Cash is trying to change the Bitcoin protocol into something that is more fungible. That is why BTC is trying to change it into something more fungible. So we all agree on that Bitcoin was never supposed to be a privacy coin. And you guys are trying to change it. Some of you guys think it's a trite endeavor to even try to engage in trying to change it. Okay. But this is where we disagree. The thing is that you guys never really understood what Bitcoin was created for. Bitcoin was created for something completely different. Bitcoin was created not to be a privacy coin. What was it created for if it was not created to be a privacy coin? Okay?
If you're asking me the question, I would say it was created as a way for us to get away from the fiat system, from the control of the central banks.
Yes and no. You're right, but not in a way that is counter-economic.
Okay.
Like the agorists would say. It was created pseudonymously, or let's see, I don't really like that term. That's the term we used to use back in the day. It was created as a transparency coin with optional privacy features. Once the blockchain scales, that's section 10 of the white paper, and we have billions of nano transactions going back and forth, where I can spin up my wallet and create a bunch of like thousands of UTXOs, and you on your receiving end, your wallet spins up thousands of addresses, and I'm sending you a bunch of little nano transactions, and all you see on the blockchain as an observer is a bunch of dust moving across the network, and no one knows if you were sending it to that one single person or a bunch of different wallets, right? So that's a privacy model that Satoshi gave us on section 10. That is not possible on BTC anymore. That is not possible on Bitcoin Cash anymore. No, it's really not, because they have limits. So what is it that Bitcoin? What is Bitcoin? So this is what the camp that I come from in Bitcoin. This is where our perspective is that Bitcoin was never supposed to be a privacy coin. Bitcoin was not an invention just to get rid of the banking cartel. Bitcoin was created for something bigger than anybody can even freaking imagine. And I think that when people start going to realize this shit, their mind's going to be blown. I'm going to try to explain it to you guys as best as possible.
Yeah, you're doing a really good job of building this up, man.
Fucking deal, man.
I want to hear the answer.
Dude, this is what Bitcoin was created for. Bitcoin was not created. So we already established that the future of every financial institution is a fintech company. We all know that, right? Look at the surveillance state around us, right? Look at what the fuck is happening with censorship, right? Real control. Like Ron Paul would tell us, capital controls are people controls. That's all capital controls are.
Yeah.
The central banksters did not want to just control the money supply. They want to control you and your movement as a person. They want to enslave you. So where is the locus of control? Not like actually it's happening now, but in Team Satoshi's mind is in the future, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. It's in big tech, guys. Big tech is the locus of the Eye of Sauron. It's not the Federal Reserve or any central bankster cartel anymore. And Team Satoshi saw that. They foresaw that. Okay? So what does this mean? That Bitcoin was created to be a new internet, not just money. It was created to be Bitcoin. Coin is the incentive structure by which we build this new infrastructure of freedom that is empowered by extreme capitalism, which is the greatest gift that Satoshi gave us. It was not even, comes from technology, from the technology of the blockchain, the miners, proof of work. But beyond that is an economic structure of aligned incentives where we are able to create a system that competes with big tech. That is the bit aspect of Bitcoin that no one talks about, that scares the establishment the most. This is why the Civil War happened. This is what scares the shit out of them. It's not the privacy aspect of Bitcoin, because the banksters have had their own privacy coin. Most people don't know this, but there are secret, private, ultra private bank accounts that run on the Swift network within the banking system that use very similar technology to zero knowledge proofs with thousands of transactions. I don't even know what kind of encryption it is, but where compliance officers in these banks are not even allowed to do their work in compliance within these special business accounts. No one talks about this. So
I've never heard about this.
Yeah, the bankster cartel has their own privacy coin that runs on Swift. No one talks about this because it's to be kept in hush. You're not supposed to know about this. So privacy coins are not a threat to them. What is a threat? What is it that what is it that is really where they have their control over everyone? It's called innovation. It's called your data. It's called your information. And that is why Bitcoin was created. Bitcoin was not created just to be a coin. It was also created to be computational power. Well, what does that mean, computational power? It means that Bitcoin was created in its original design to compete with big tech in this new infrastructure, which is a new internet, where every data packet that is sent in this new internet is a tiny nano transaction, where every byte, B-Y-T-E, is a Satoshi that travels within this new internet, where Bitcoin miners will rival ASW, Amazon farms, where we will rival Google, Twitter, Facebook. That is the real game plan and real game changer of Bitcoin, guys. And a lot of people, look, I can talk about this for hours, man.
No, I mean, I can see the passion. I mean, and I appreciate it's an interesting perspective. I'm not saying you're wrong. I definitely appreciate you sharing your insight.
It's deep because this is what has been persecuted the most in all of crypto. You would think that the people in crypto, not just people in crypto, but you think that this is something that people would know about. First off, most people don't know about this. Second, there's a very strong concerted propaganda against this. Under the guise of decentralization, under the guise of privacy, which are all good endeavors, they obfuscate this aspect of what Satoshi gave us. Because this is, and it's been proven, funded and paid for by big tech and the financial giants themselves to keep Bitcoin from thriving to its fullness. I see Bitcoin Cash and BTC as crippled coins because they don't offer you the privacy that they should and that they would desire to offer you, and that they're selling people maybe offering in the future.
Now, is there privacy on BSV?
No, because it comes from the Bitcoin protocol at scale. It's not
but it acts as kind of a computer with computational power. There's lots of applications being built on it. There's lots of microtransactions. So everything to that effect is the same, but it's not, there's no privacy aspect, and there never will be a privacy aspect from a straight fork unless you fork it with the private code.
So right now, as the world of cryptography is at this moment in time, the best form of cryptographic integration to achieve the maximum amount of privacy for the individual is the way that cryptography is constituted in protocols like Monero and Pirate Chain, because it gives you privacy right now in every single transaction. Okay. Satoshi's plan for privacy is section 10 of the white paper, which I already explained it, is at scale, you'll have so many transactions just going on the blockchain and millions and billions of nano transactions on this new internet that, yes, things will be traceable and they could be tracked through blockchain analytics, but it will come down to a cost benefit analysis where a regulator would say, was it worth going after this guy? Yes or no. And the more the blockchain grows, the Bitcoin's original design grows, the more costly it will be. So no, it will never be as private as a Monero or a Pirate Chain, but Bitcoin's design is to become more private, as its original design is to become more private as time goes on. To the point, and this is probably something I shouldn't say out loud, because I feel like I know forbidden knowledge that I don't want lizards to know.
Yeah, we can't let the lizards know.
I don't even know if I want to say this, man.
Well, I mean, you can't do this and then not say it. At this point, you have to say it. You should never have brought it up.
As a new internet. So this is what happens in BSV, right? So that you guys can follow the logical conclusion here. In BSV, the miners scale. I'm a rebellious miner in BSV. What is it? Bitcoin mining. A miner can mine BTC, Bitcoin Cash, or BSV. I can point my miners to any of those three chains. I mine BSV because I'm a rebellious miner. What does that mean? I don't want to be told by any central planner or any technocrat what I can or cannot mine, what I can support or cannot support. I am open to all types of innovation. I am open for entrepreneurs to build whatever they want on the Bitcoin blockchain. If they want to build whatever they want to build, as long as the market says, yes, we want it, I want it. One of the biggest lies and bullshit propaganda that we saw throughout the Bitcoin Civil War is on Bitcoin Cash and BTC. They would tell you can't do certain things on the blockchain because that is spamming the blockchain. And my question was always, the fuck are you to tell me what spamming the blockchain is? If as a miner and as an entrepreneur, I process something of value for someone in the network, then it's a valid transaction and you shouldn't get in the way of it. So what happened is that MBSV were finally able to embrace Bitcoin's computational power for the first time in history. What does that mean? That we're able to use Bitcoin smart contracts, Bitcoin script to write smart contracts. We can put data on the blockchain. We can create applications on the Bitcoin blockchain. We literally right now, the first iteration of applications on the Bitcoin blockchain have been applications and startups that are showing you how the most popular of the current internet 2.0 applications can be built on Bitcoin's original design and better. And that's why we have Relica.world, Twetch.com. When it comes to NFTs, we are seeing that Bitcoin's original design is the only place where the NFT actually comes alive, because the actual full content of the data of the NFT lives on the blockchain. Any NFT that is on Tezos,
it's stored on a cloud.
It's stored on Amazon servers. So all you're getting on Ethereum is a proof of Amazon server. That's all you're getting. There's a proof that something exists on an Amazon server. That to me is not an NFT. I don't own any. So people have been offering me, hey, well, Raf, here's a free Ethereum NFT. And I'm like, I just can't. First off, I'm not going to use Ethereum. It fucking sucks. I mean, in every regard, it just duped a lot of good people into building on it because they don't know any better. I'm here telling you guys that there are things that are better. But yeah, Bitcoin's original design, BSV, the whole NFT lives on chain, and it costs pennies to mint NFT on chain. And not just does the NFT live on chain, but the NFT itself can be programmable, meaning that the NFT can come alive. And the simple example I give people is, imagine if there's a picture of a centipede that every 100 blocks of time grows an extra pair of legs, right? You can do that. We have NFTs that are like music on the blockchain. That's Jamify.xyz, right? We have many things being built that cannot be built anywhere else in all of crypto. And this is where we come now to where we're at in this war. We are right now seeing something that no one else in crypto has seen before. No blockchain on the planet is being challenged and attacked by big tech. Only BSV. Why is that? Because BSV has technology that big tech wants. Mark Zuckerberg needs the technology on BSV, but who I consider people that were part of Team Satoshi, they patented a lot of these technologies because IBM, Alibaba, and a lot of entities throughout the world were patenting blockchain technology because they don't fucking care about free and open source.
Right.
But Satoshi, Team Satoshi, in my opinion, being the objectivists that they are, they're not afraid to use government law. So what they did is that they patented a shit ton of stuff. Things that
now, when you say
Facebook
they, because
Yeah.
this is going to be one of my questions. When you say they, I would say more he, and it would be the question of what are your thoughts on Craig Wright? And before you answer, based off my research, it does appear that Craig was a part of the team in some capacity. I feel as if he wrote the white paper. It looked like a lot of the scientific verbiage and language was, came from, matched up with a lot of his past and present documents. I don't believe he was Satoshi. I don't believe he was the progenitor, the creator, the starter of it. I don't believe he had that kind of coding skill. I'm not a huge fan of his actions. I'm trying not to judge the man. I get his point of view, but the way he presents himself is kind of petty in a lot of ways. What are your thoughts on Craig Wright?
I mean, he's a human being, and I look, man. You're asking me about him as a person?
No, I'm just asking you about.
I don't know him as a person, and I don't know because people talk about him, and
do you feel he's the innovator that he claims to be?
It comes down to, like, a lot of people just throw at homonyms right away, and they start saying, well, look at his defects and the mistakes that he has made. Look, I judge people by proof of work. And what Craig Wright is advocating for is the same exact thing that I've been advocating for since I fell in love with Bitcoin.
But he's not the only developer on BSV, though, correct? It's not just him.
Guys, I'm Satoshi, okay? No, I'm not Satoshi. But no,
I've talked to a lot of people like Kurt Workert. I've talked to him about the whole situation with BSV and Craig. I've got a lot of inside knowledge to the situation. I just wanted to get your perspective, being that you're a big proponent of the BSV blockchain.
This is where I have to give a disclaimer. The vast majority of the Crypto Vigilante team thinks that Craig Wright is a scammer, fake Toshi. And this is Mr. X, Mr. A, Mr. W. They all think even Ed Bugos, the director of research, he's like, he can't be Satoshi. He can't be Satoshi. Look, I have a different opinion. My opinion is that I judge Craig Wright by his proof of work, not by his identity of who he was or what people say he is or what he claims to be. I don't give a fuck even if tomorrow he moves all of Satoshi's coins, or if he doesn't. Whether he is Satoshi or not Satoshi is not what I care about at all. That's not what I care about at all. And everyone on BSV, as the vast majority of people on BSV, don't care about that at all as well. What people care about in BSV is proof of work. Does it work? And who works it best? We see that BSV is the best place to build, the best place. I mean, obviously, if you want to build something that works with the world as is, with governments as is, an open, transparent ledger, BSV is the best Ethereum out there on the planet right now. It's showing it. More than half of all transactions on the network on the entire crypto space are happening on BSV, even though it's the most delisted, persecuted network on the planet. It is BSV and Craig Wright. They're being right now taken to court by Mark Zuckerberg and Jack Dorsey and a bunch of big tech.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, dude, check it out.
So,
Go to
suing
Copa,
Craig?
the Copa trial. Yeah, they're suing them. Copa trial.
The Kleinman case I was familiar with, but I didn't know there was another case going on.
Oh, this is the big one, man. It's just that.
And I know he's patenting. I know he's been patenting the hell out of stuff. So when you brought up patents, I had to bring up Craig.
Well, if you patent something, you have to have proof for the patent, right?
Right.
So all of a sudden, this is all of a sudden, fucking Jack Dorsey and Mark Zuckerberg are libertarian heroes. Oh my God, guys. Did you guys know there are people to be trusted? Did you know they care about your freedom, privacy, that they care about you owning your own data? And did you know that they are also there? This is literally what fucking BTC maximalists are implicitly saying. They are telling us that fucking Mark Zuckerberg is a Bitcoiner that we should trust implicitly.
I haven't heard that, but I wouldn't
because they're not saying it up front. They won't say it up front. But if you go to the Bitcoin 22 conference, like when you go to the Bitcoin 21 conference last year, you saw literal shrines for Jack Dorsey.
Yeah, Dorsey, but not Zuckerman.
But Zuckerberg is now part is now part Meta. Facebook is now part of the lawsuit against BSV because they want the original Bitcoin technology. And these guys, these entities are here telling you guys that they care about free and open source software. The biggest technocratic tyrants on the planet all of a sudden care about your internet.
Right.
Really? And you guys are listening to this and like pretending like, oh yeah, these guys are they need to be trusted. Bro, people we've seen something from the pandemic is how irrational people become when it comes to a hive mind mentality. And a lot of people in crypto have lost their shit and they're not thinking critically, because as a person, Craig Wright is not what I think you should be looking at. And this is to answer your question. What you should be looking at, and it's not about, and this goes for everyone in crypto. It goes for anyone with a big name in crypto that is promising you things. Anyone that is promising you things or building things for you, don't judge them by their identity or by anything that could be otherwise, what Aristotle would call accidentals. Judge them by that.
Sometimes he just makes it difficult with just running his mouth. If he would just kind of be behind the scenes and just let his work prove itself and him not say and do some of the things he's done, it's toxic.
I am the autism whisperer, okay?
And I definitely think that he's in the spectrum. And I would say that.
No, he is. He is. And
I've gotten that from people who know him.
Some of my best friends are autistic as hell, bro.
So I'm not trying to knock. That's why I said earlier, I'm not trying to judge the man. It's more of his actions. We'll know him. We'll know them by their fruit.
And even his own actions, bro. Fuck his actions. We're not here for someone's actions. What is this, a popularity contest? Is he running to be president? No, he's not.
I get it, but there's certain people I do not want to support if they're not good human beings, if their intention is not good.
The person, don't support him.
Right. I get what you're saying. And I appreciate your perspective.
Actually, look, man, if you go to BSV, if you actually start interacting with the community, there is a lot of the big creators in BSV hold the same gripe that you and I have against the personality of Craig Wright. Actually, if anything, I'm the most generous dude amongst them.
No, I know there's a lot of people in the community that separate him
who he is as a person,
or
because to me, man, it's a sense of respect for people, dude. Okay, there are quirky things about Vitalik that I can fucking, dude. I can roast people,
dude.
Bro.
He's super socially awkward, super high spectrum.
I can roast people like crazy, dude. But fuck his personality. I've met Vitalik as a person, very amicable, really cool dude. Do I agree with him? No, I don't. No, I don't. Do I agree with Ethereum? I have never and never will, because to me, it was a shit protocol from the start. Something never to be trusted. And it's proving itself to just be the forever promise coin. But look at Craig Wright, if you want to compare him to Vitalik. What's Craig Wright championing? Bitcoin's original design. And what is he proving? Be a proof of work that Bitcoin's original design works better than anything else in the space. It's the more you use the BSV blockchain, the cheaper transaction fees are. So I'm an investor, dude. You're an investor too. Everyone watching this is an investor. When you're an investor, you doing business, is really get your emotions out of the way, dude.
No,
like,
I
as
agree.
much as possible, and be stoic about your decisions. Where is the future here? I see the future of Bitcoin only being possible on BSV. I cannot see it on Bitcoin Cash. I cannot see it on BTC. Does it have a difficult future? Fuck yeah, it does, man. I'm very sober about this. I never expected, and this is why I find myself like almost at awe at like the naivety of a lot of Bitcoiners and people in crypto. Like, who told you that Bitcoin was going to be received with open arms by big tech, Silicon Valley, and Wall Street?
Right.
Like, you're delusional, dude.
And it's being embraced by the institutions and by big tech. It's being embraced
by the fucking, what are the enemies of freedom. No, what I expect to happen to Bitcoin is what is happening to BSV. It's being attacked by Silicon Valley, being like crazy, because all of Bitcoin, all of the crypto social media, all of the crypto news outlets are owned by them, and they all are nothing but hit pieces against BSV. The same Silicon Valley cartel owns all of the exchanges, the vast majority of the exchanges, and a lot of the early Bitcoin startups. So they will never, this is what you guys have to know about Silicon Valley, they will never do anything that goes against their existing portfolio. And what's their existing portfolio? Their existing portfolio is Amazon, Facebook, Twitter, Yelp, Google. That's who,
the FANG stocks. Yeah, the FANG, what people call the FANG stocks.
Exactly. That's who runs the show in crypto. Crypto's being fooled. Crypto needs to wake up, because Satoshi never gave us a network that needs to be the bitch of the legacy financial system or big tech. Remember, I told you the most important thing about here is the big tech. We were never supposed to be the bitches of big tech. We were supposed to have big tech grovel at us, because we are a more powerful network by nature, by the nature of what Satoshi gave us, which is not just technologic, but out of the technology, we have a beautiful incentive structure known as the Nakamoto Consensus. And this is a big deal right here that I'm about to share with you, that when the Bitcoin Civil War took place, people confused the Nakamoto Consensus with the FOSS ethos. They're two different things, and I will debate any Bitcoiner anytime, anywhere about this, because this is what Jameson Lopp, when he talks about consensus on Bitcoin, he creates this mistake of confusing the free and open source software ethos with the Nakamoto Consensus. And it's very, I don't think he did it out of malice. I just think he did it out of his ambition for what he really, really, really wants, which is Monero. Like, you know what I mean? Even just now, he just did an interview of like how much he likes Monero. Then go to fucking Monero, bro. Stop talking to people.
I thought he was a Bitcoin maxi. So
he is a Bitcoin maxi, but it's like I see him and a lot of Bitcoin maxis living in a sunk cost. Because when people are invested in a sunk cost, you guys know what a sunk cost is. It's like that person that has a corner store and says, well, you know what? I'm just going to put a billboard, and you still get no clients. And I'm going to do this. And they just keep investing in a sunk cost. Right. To me, BTC is where it's at, because it is the bitch of the establishment being pumped by fiat from the financial elite to give you the illusion that BTC is successful. Why? Because they don't want you to know anything about Bitcoin's computational power, because that's really what scares them. So here they're playing a switch of hands, right? What do you call that? Switch of hands?
Sleight of hand?
Sleight of hands. It's a sleight of hands. Like,
look at smoke and mirror game.
Look right here, guys. Look at this, how successful this Bitcoin is, right? Look at Bitcoin. Meanwhile, the miners within this Bitcoin chain are the bitches of the establishment. The miners in BTC are being told left and right, oh, you're not green energy. Oh, yes, we're not green energy. What can we do to please our Lord?
Bad Bitcoin
miner. Fuck you, man. We're the most green fucking energy on the planet.
Yeah, that argument is a lot of BS.
I have the economic incentive to be as cost efficient as possible. Look at the BSV blockchain. Go to coin.dance right now. Why don't you pull it up, please? Coin.dance.
Hold on one second.
Coin.dance, bro. This picture, guys, is all you need to fucking understand. Like, if you understand the efficiency of what Satoshi gave us, this is all you need to see. This is all you need to see. If you understand this picture, this is all you need to see. Scroll down. Look at the hash rate of BTC. Okay. Look at how many transactions BTC has, right? Look at all that energy in BTC. Go down. Look at the block sizes, right? Okay. Now go back up as well. Go back up as well. Look at the hash rate of BSV, right? Look at the input. Hash rate is input. Amount of network nodes is input. Energy going into a system. Energy going into a system, right? What is the output? What comes out on the other end? What is the result? You're putting all this energy, this power, this work for what? For 7 transactions per second on BTC?
Yeah.
For only 8.5% of all transactions on the network? For block sizes that constitute 2.15% of all transactions on all of the Bitcoin network in general? Because I consider Bitcoin to be a meritocracy of miners that mine across all these chains. But look at the input on Bitcoin's original design, right? It's an input of 0.14% of hash rate. Network nodes 0.7%. But look at the output. Look at how efficient Bitcoin's original design is. Look at the output, guys. Look at how much transactions are happening. That's where you need to fucking look at. Where's the future of Bitcoin mining? That's where the future of Bitcoin mining is. Because BSV already moved into what us Bitcoiners have always talked about, the golden age of mining. The golden age of mining is the age where you as a miner make more money from transaction fees than you do from the block reward subsidy. The block reward is a subsidy, as Satoshi gave us, to jumpstart the Bitcoin economy. Bitcoin is supposed to be an economy on chain that rivals Silicon Valley and rivals big tech. How does it rival Silicon Valley? Very simple. You and your buddies just create a front end. You don't need Amazon servers anymore. You don't need Oracle. You don't need any of those guys anymore. You just plug your startup, the front page of your startup, to the Bitcoin miners as the back end of your business. Fuck you, big tech. You don't need money from Silicon Valley to build a back-end infrastructure of servers and shit. No, that is what the miners are there for. And we're ready for you and we're ready for your business. So you plug and play. Twitch.com is a perfect example of this. They receive no venture capital, just bootstrap, and is one of the most badass startups in the world right now. One of the fastest leading social networks on the planet, because they are embracing the fullness of Bitcoin. And
it's kind of like a Twitter, right?
It's like a Twitter, but it's not it's like when you use Twitter after using Twitch, you feel dirty, man.
Right.
You're like in the People's Republic of Twitter, bro. It's like disgusting. But when you use Twitch, it's like super capitalist, super anarchist. It's super cool, dude. It's like you pay for everything. People pay for you. It costs 2 pennies to post something, and people pay you 5 cents if they like your post, or 8 cents and 3 cents to branch your post. That's like to retweet your post. It's awesome, dude. That's like cool. You own your data, man. It's like this is why there is this war. This war against Bitcoin has been a war from the get-go to interrupt and do away with Bitcoin's computational power. This is why, because this is what Silicon Valley and big tech are scared of. This is why the whole fucking civil war started. And they lied to us with very good, precise rhetoric, libertarian rhetoric, saying we're going to turn Bitcoin into a privacy coin. We're going to focus on the coin aspect of Bitcoin because what matters most is to do away with the manipulation of money from the banking cartel. That's beautiful, but if you're going to do that, you do that right. And you go to Monero, you go to Pirate Chain. But if you want to create something that rivals big tech, you need to do it in a way where everyone is welcome into the network. Why? What does that mean? That this is something that Monero and Pirate Chain cannot do. Why is that? Because Monero and Pirate Chain cannot completely open the governance of their coin to the whole world. Why? Because what if tomorrow some communist comes in and says, no, we want to have a backdoor to see every transaction in Monero? No, Monero has its community of contributors overseeing the governance of Monero. They are the Monero and privacy coins are the only coins on the planet that are justified in operating 100% with the free and open source software ethos, where they get to oversee the whole network, that the community itself vigilantly oversees the state of the network, and they don't want, and that's why they limit their ASIC resistance, because they cannot afford for like someone to come in with ASICs and just overpower and make their blockchain transparent, right? They're justified in that. What guides Monero and privacy coins is the free and open source software ethos, right? Which is completely different. We've had the FOSS ethos since before Bitcoin. What Satoshi gave us, and this is the killer fucking message here. What Satoshi gave us is the Nakamoto Consensus. And again, a lot of BTC people are confused, thinking that Satoshi gave and that Bitcoin was created to operate under the FOSS ethos. No, it wasn't. Bitcoin was created to operate under and to be governed by the Nakamoto Consensus. What am I saying here? I'm saying that the vast majority of Bitcoiners, of Bitcoin maximalists, never understood the Nakamoto Consensus, and they still don't. They still don't. They confuse it with the FOSS ethos. This is what the Nakamoto Consensus is. Are you ready for this? Because this is the big fucking, this is the, in my opinion, this is the biggest thing that's the most badass creation in all of crypto is this right here, guys. And if you understand the Nakamoto Consensus, if you actually are able to digest it and really investigate it, bro, you're just going to be at another level. And you're going to geek out and you're going to fall in love with Bitcoin more than you've ever fallen in love with Bitcoin before. And the Nakamoto Consensus is this.
Okay.
Satoshi gave us a meritocracy of miners that when they are autonomous, as they're supposed to be autonomous, because the miner is the entity that has most to lose in the entire network. If I own the coin, I can exit out of the network if something happens easily. I can short it, leave it. If I have a company, just a company, I can pivot to something else in fintech. If I don't want to be part of the Bitcoin network for some reason. But when I buy miners, specialized computers that are just for the sake of protecting the SHA-256 network, I cannot pivot. I am committed. And not only am I committed, but I'm committed on every single block of time. Every single block of time is a tiny little civil war that happens every 10 minutes. Every 10 minutes, there is a little war in securing the network where I'm verifying what you're doing as a miner and you're verifying what I'm doing as a miner. And I'm competing with you and you're competing with me in being the most honest and valuable miner on the network. And whoever is is the best for the network wins that block and moves closer to the center of the network, is what we call it, and becomes the more interconnected node in the network. Interconnectedness in Bitcoin is incentivized. So it is this network of honest miners that protects the network. And it is a competition that stackles on top of each other over time. It's a Stackelberg competition where if you are giving the network most value, you move to the center of the network. And if I give them the network more value, I move and then you move. And we're all just stacking value on top of a value in Bitcoin. So the Nakamoto Consensus is a consensus. This is the big thing, guys. The Nakamoto Consensus is consensus by extreme capitalism. It's not consensus by politics. It's not consensus by central planners, as the vast majority of cryptocurrencies on the planet. I would say, to be completely honest, man, all of them but BSV operate under a governance model that is centralized, dictated by central planning technocrats that oversee the network, that lie to people and tell them that they're giving people decentralization, but that decentralization is overseen by a group of centralized developers. And that happens in all cryptocurrencies but Bitcoin's original design. And the only cryptocurrencies that are justified in acting in this way are privacy coins. And I explained why already, because they operate by the FOSS ethos. The FOSS ethos is their meritocracy. And that is a meritocracy that should be honored, and it fucking is awesome, and it works for privacy coins because their goal is to be completely private for the individual. the meritocracy. This is the big deal, guys. What Satoshi gave us is a brand new form of meritocracy. A meritocracy that has to do with proof that is proof of work in its ultimate form. That is the meritocracy of the freedom of the Nakamoto Consensus, where miners compete in being the most valuable guardian of the network and protector of the network, and in being the most profitable for the network. How do they compete? I already explained that. It's by competing and being the most valuable, the most secure for the network. So that is the meritocracy that Satoshi gave us. And what comes out of that is a system of aligned incentives where everyone is oriented in cooperating as they compete with one another. We call that a co-opetition, a cooperative competition. And it is in this dynamic that we are able to scale in ways that no one else in crypto is capable of. Because a miner, when he has complete autonomy, has a direct connection with the market in real time, in ultimate proof of work, which is what us miners in BSV are. We operate under ultimate proof of work, where we spend energy and then we go into the market and try to give as much value as possible to make the space that much more valuable for entrepreneurs and users. And so this is something that does not happen in BTC. The dynamic there is completely different. The dynamic there is that there's a centralized group of developers, the core devs, that oversee and run the network, and they tell miners what to do. And they tell everyone what to do and this is what we're going to run. And they give you a false sense of democratic socialism where we're all going to spin up a node, which is nothing more but like a little window into the blockchain, a do-it-yourself block explorer. And then they say, well, we all voted for this. No, dude, I could have fucking voted 100,000 times if I would have rented out 100,000 Amazon servers, and then you guys would have never even known that you were Sybil attack. But that's not how Bitcoin's supposed to work. Bitcoin's supposed to be governed by proof of work, by extreme. Not even the word govern is appropriate when we use Bitcoin's original design. The word govern is gone out of the picture. You have no politics. This is the beautiful, badass thing Satoshi gave us. With the Nakamoto Consensus, you get rid of politics, and you get rid of bureaucracy, and you get rid of governments. And in my opinion, this is my argument actually for why BSV is an anarchist coin. And in the past, I've had conversations with Craig Wright about this. And it's almost like I lead up to the logical conclusion, and he's like, "Fuck you."
Yeah, no, I can only imagine, because I know how he is from that mentality.
I respect that, because he's playing the role he's supposed to play, which is that of an objectivist, a person that embraces the world and government law as it is, because Bitcoin was never supposed to be a privacy coin. So what do you do when you embrace the world as it is, as an objectivist? You embrace all of it, and you're not stupid about government law. One of the biggest things and revelations that I had in my experience in all of crypto was realizing how dumb people are when they work within transparent blockchains and they want to disregard government law. You're a fucking idiot if you do that, because you are playing in a fishbowl. I can see exactly what's happening, and it's just me and my little computer. Imagine the power that blockchain analytic companies have in surveilling with added metadata on all the users. You're fucked, man.
It's crazy.
So if you're not complying with the law in a transparent surveillance coin, you're an idiot. If you're telling people Bitcoin is private, or any Bitcoin protocol is private, like a Monero or anywhere near it with privacy features, you're lying to people. You're lying to people. That's plain and simple.
Right.
What Bitcoin was created for was to be a truth machine, an honesty machine, a value machine. So what does it do? What does it do? Through the Nakamoto Consensus, we're all incentivized to be part of this network because it's more efficient and more profitable. We're seeing that right now. BSV is the most profitable, most efficient, and fastest network in all of the crypto space. No one can beat us. No one can beat us. And those that think that they can beat us, they have a completely different component that is not proof of work, or they're using second layers, or they're using a whole different network topology that robs the user from the small world network that brings people together. That is Bitcoin in its original design, where I am removed 2 hops from all the rest of the network. That doesn't happen. People will say, well, Cardano stores NFTs on chain. Cardano is composed of 2 blockchains to begin with. It's a completely different network topology, a computational layer, a financial layer. Bitcoin's original design is one single unified layer. And let me tell you why the confusion really is and why it happens. It's because of economic illiteracy. People are scared of capitalism. And a lot of the BS arguments that you hear against miner autonomy and miners being able to mine whatever the fuck they want is the same anti-capitalist arguments that we've heard forever from central planners, communists, and just any fucking statists that are scared or don't understand capitalism, and they think that capitalism needs to be controlled. So therefore, that same mentality came into crypto, came into Bitcoin, and the miners need to be controlled. They need to be limited in what they can mine. They need to be controlled and subjugated to an authority. That's what happened here. Bitcoin's original design says, fuck you. We're rebellious miners and we're doing what's best for the network. And we are, we're complying with the fucking law, because you would be stupid not to comply with the law in a public blockchain. Because Bitcoin, this is what's cool about Bitcoin. Bitcoin gives people freedom by extreme capitalism. It is extreme capitalism that will outcompete anything that is centrally controlled. So in my opinion, and this is my sincere opinion, bro, is that the vast majority of blockchains on the planet are not centralized. I don't consider Ethereum centralized. I don't decentralized. I don't consider BTC decentralized. I don't consider Bitcoin Cash decentralized. Why? Because these blockchains are controlled by central planners that tinker with the base protocol. If you, as long as you have governance by a group of technocrats, you're not fucking centralized, because when shit hits the fan, the technocrats are going to call the shots. Bitcoin's original design was designed to truly be decentralized. How was it designed to be completely decentralized? Because you give miners complete autonomy over the network, and the miners emphasize one thing that Satoshi gave us, which is the one thing: competition. Competition, free competition, unfeathered competition, competition when anyone can compete, and where I can be better than you and you can be better than me. Okay, but is this communist rhetoric of egalitarianism that has come into crypto that says that no, a miner cannot be better than me. Therefore, we need to control it and keep it simple. And under the guise of decentralization, that's just another form of egalitarianism. We need anybody in the world needs to be able to become a node. And then you have that what you have in BTC, where now everyone is in nodes. They think they're a node, they're not a node, but it's this egalitarianism, dude, that came into crypto. No, real Bitcoin's original design, and to me, Bitcoin is the protocol, not the ticker symbol, run by exchanges controlled by Silicon Valley. Bitcoin is the protocol, not the ticker symbol. Bitcoin, the protocol, is stable and fixed. What does that mean? That since it's stable and fixed, the rules of the game are the same for all of us. And there is no central planner or group of technocrats that can tinker with the protocol and say, well, this is what Bitcoin is now, and this is what this is the game plan that we have, and this is what we're dealing with now and what we will deal with in the future. And the only blockchain that offers me that is BSV. So and it's the only place where I can actually compete. And
I respect that, man.
And so the decentralization is market driven, and it is the only place on the planet that I see where decentralization truly comes forth from market forces and market drivers.
Well said, man. And I definitely love your perspective, man. And, we definitely are going to have to continue doing more conversations like this, because I've thoroughly enjoyed it. We're at the 1.5-hour mark. It's 10 o'clock my time. I've had a long day.
Obvious that I love this fucking topic, dude. I mean,
yeah, I can tell, man. I can totally tell. But dude,
one thing,
I've enjoyed this conversation thoroughly.
Dude, this is not good for business, right? Being pro BSV is the worst thing you could be doing for business. There's so much hate for BSV in all of crypto. It's the most delisted blockchain.
I know you promoting it is not a popular position. I mean, I know there's going to be, I know that a lot of people are going to be commenting, but seeing like in order for us to think we know what we think we know, we need to challenge what we think we know to solidify those things. So that's what conversations like this are all about. Whether or not in the end we agree to disagree on a particular matter, that's a completely different subject. But the conversation has been awesome in your time,
dude,
and I really
my
appreciate
business partners completely disagree with me on all this. Okay. At the Crypto Vigilante, you get the whole enchilada. You get all perspectives, not just my perspective. I'm the guy out here talking because all those guys are anonymous, you know, but those guys completely disagree with me, man. Like they completely disagree.
Well, I appreciate the honesty. I appreciate the honesty, you know, and like I said, we're definitely going to do this again. Maybe we can do something potentially in Miami if we both have some time, but yeah, I'm going to have links for everything that we talked about, including the Crypto Vigilante YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed, go subscribe. Great videos. You can also find them on Odyssey and Library as well. I will have links for the Crypto Vigilante website, cryptovigilante.io. You can check that out. You can also follow them on Twitter, and they have a really cool special report to Canadians on crypto privacy that I would definitely encourage you to check out.
Everyone in the world, because we're seeing everybody's bank accounts being shut down.
Yeah, it's starting to
medical reasons, political reasons, because you're wearing the wrong color. You know, it's yeah. Oh, by the way, we're doing a workshop for free for people new to crypto. People have been asking for years that we do something like this. It's tcvworkshop.com coming up on April 22nd.
TVC workshop.
TCV.
Why am I don't even know what I'm typing. tcvworkshop.com.
Yeah, workshop.com. So yeah, we're just gonna do this for free because look, we're only in the blockchain, we're only as strong as our smallest block, right? So
yeah.
So this is
like an intro course.
Yeah, pretty much intro course of Crypto 101. At the Crypto Vigilante, we obviously talk about what you know. This whole conversation was fundamental analysis. I gave you my take. The other analysts have their own takes. They disagree with me on BSV, for example. They all do. I'm the only like pro BSV dude there, which is okay. But yet they still haven't been able.
Isn't Jeff pro BSV?
No, Jeff is like Jeff.
I know he likes Bitcoin Cash, but I thought he was pro BSV as well.
No, he's more like you. He's more Bitcoin Cash. But Jeff, when it comes down to it, he's one of those guys that realized that what he really truly wanted was good money, good fungible digital cash and digital gold. So Jeff is all Monero, Pirate Chain,
yeah, makes sense.
Privacy coins, real cryptocurrency, right? Real cryptocurrency. So in my mind, that's real cryptocurrency, and then there's Bitcoin. And to me, Bitcoin is like what I explained, you know,
right.
Bitcoin's original design. So yeah, tcvworkshop.com is going to be that free summit that we're having for anyone. Anyone can just come in and be part of it. We just want to teach people. I want to teach the grandmas and the grandpas.
No, that's sweet. I definitely encourage anybody, because you know, my channel has a mixed audience. I have 3 different shows. Not everybody is involved in crypto, and there's some people that want to learn. So anything beginner, I definitely would recommend to anybody watching this video. Sign up. It's for free, and it'll be linked in the video description.
Yeah, one of the things that we do in the newsletter that we champion a lot is the how. How do you actually work with these technologies, which is operational security, right? We emphasize that all the time. Every newsletter that you get has a very pretty thorough lesson on operational security. We take that very serious. You know, to survive and prosper during and after the dollar collapse with crypto, you need to survive to begin with. So you need to know how to use these technologies. Obviously, we do technical analysis as well. I already mentioned almost daily.
And with Dollar Vigilante, I mean, there's a strong emphasis too on gold and silver, which is something I would like to talk with you about in a future conversation too. But
and dude, Bugles is the guy for that.
I know.
He's the guru.
I know. Well, I mean, I still would like just to get your personal thoughts in a future conversation. We got a lot to talk about. We just kind of scratched the surface, man.
Yeah, but you know, Socrates says that when you have a question, you go to the experts. And to me, worldwide, the expert is Ed Bugos. When it comes to technical analysis, I point to Mr. A and W. They're the gurus, in my opinion, worldwide. When it comes to operational security, Mr. P, Mr. X, Mr. Z, Mr. Y, and Mr. A are fucking amazing. Like,
I can't even remember. I can't even see how you remember all those different initials for those misters, but There's a lot of
Wow.
different anonymous misters. I was gonna, if you could bear with me real 1 second, I'm gonna go ahead and just wrap up the video and stop recording. We're recording this on St. Patrick's Day. I've done a lot of stuff today. I have a full day on my book tomorrow, and I'm not gonna have a chance to edit this until this weekend. So it'll be coming out early next week, probably on Monday or Tuesday. I'll keep everybody updated. I'll let you know, Raph. If this is your first time watching any of my videos and you've gotten this far, I definitely would encourage you to make sure you explore my channel, make sure you're subscribed, hit the notification bell, and sometimes YouTube will notify you when my videos come out. Make sure you check out the links below. Make sure you're subscribed over at Crypto Vigilante, as well as checking out the newsletter and that free crypto education course. And I will leave you with this: be blessed, be the change, practice change.